everybody, how's it? Aloha. Well, I had a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys so much for your birthday wishes. Thank you. They were so cool. Had them all dropping across my social media platforms, so I really appreciate it. All right, the Contortionist returned to Earth. I think I did, as a matter of fact, I did do one Contortionist earlier, and I was completely mesmerized, I believe, by the arrangements and stuff. So I look forward to that here. So I'm excited to do this. I want to thank you guys for your suggestions. As a matter of fact, this came from a very special suggestion that I said, yeah, let's do this for you. In the meantime, I do want to say thank you so much for your support. Those of you who have bought me a cup of coffee, thank you so much. It really helps out what I also do with the kids. For those of you who don't know, first time here, whenever you see any advertisement on any of my videos, it's copyright claims, so it doesn't monetize for my channel. So it's just support with the cup of coffee. Any music from the Contortionist, links, merch and stuff, Spotify will be down below. Links for this headset also down below, as well as the cup of coffee. So let's do this. The Contortionist return to Earth. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. I mean, I'm feeling now the vocals are going to come in. We're getting nice and powerful. Wow, what a beautiful opening. That opening passage, just very unique arrangements going on. So, I mean, obviously we're going to start off with the fact that you have the bass doing kind of chords on the bass that he's playing there, also with a delay on it. And unique unto the engineering here, which you know I'm a bit of an engineer enthusiast because this has been most of my life as well. Love that it's off to the left, which kind of takes us a little off guard, and it kind of sets us up for what kind of journey is this going to be if we're not hearing what we're used to hearing, right? Bass up the middle, that kind of a thing. So very unique that the power of the bass and the melodic structure is given its own kind of life on the left side. Then I have this little opening here where it sounded like a very light and distant organ that had a little bit of nice ambiance on it, reverb and stuff, having a melody, and then it switched off into the guitar. Very nice, beautiful, very long notes, very ambient. Everything here is very ambient. Then the vocals come in with an incredibly wonderful melody. And what's really unique about this for me is that I'm listening to the motion of the really? Some guy's got to have that thing turned up, right? Is the motion of the chords as they're moving through. So as the bass seems to be moving the chord structure on an upward trajectory, the guitar and other arrangements and layers are kind of moving it this way. So there's this unique, wonderful counter-melodic arrangement that's having its own tug of war, if you would, while we still have this beautiful ambience that's setting off. Then you have some answers back and forth, just a little bit with some volume guitar work. And then as it starts to get pretty bold, as the vocals have set in and the vocals pulled out, then you hear this really deep, rich synth sound. And every time a chord change was made, this has a very unique envelope sweep kind of vibe. So press down on the chord and it starts off low and then swells up and then sweeps out really wide. And it has a really lush bottom end. One that since dubiously have that honor that if constructed correctly, you really don't need to mess around with it in EQ and stuff, and it really holds to the bottom. Then, of course, boom, the drums come in, the power come in. I think you saw me kind of jump a little bit. And it was a welcome change, excuse me, and I knew it was coming, or some kind of change was coming, but that whole opening passage totally sunk me into this journey of abyss. Now, even though I am listening to this as an old composer, the Decomposer, I can't help sometimes but get, as I'm trying to remember things to say when I stop, I kind of get, into the track. And then when that change came around, it kind of caught me off on a bump. So I guarantee we're probably going to hear some more vocals. And now that we've laid into a little bit more of a forward pounding rock session or rock vibe here, let's go forward and see what we got here. What a super cool percussion arrangement with the drums and stuff like that. One of the things to hang on to when, for me, when I'm listening and I'm looking for the one, where's the one, is I always look for or listen for some pattern that has just the straight tempo in it. So when the drums come in, the vocals get it, come back in. You got the hi-hat doing this, okay, and then the second half of that, he switched from the hi-hat to the bell of the cymbal holding that. But a very unique drum pattern that really does give you that question. Even if you're the pure listener, like most of you are, you're not involved in music, you're not a musician, you're just enjoying this piece of work. This kind of feeling like it's a little out, a little in. A lot of times that can be done with what we call meter changes, and a lot of times it's done with what we call syncopation. Creative syncopation work where it's still in the structure of a straight, what we call 4/4, but where the drums or any percussive or arrangement decides to come in a measure and finish its phrase in a measure, is what can throw what seems to be a very straight section into like, are we coming in, we're going. But it is that, da 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 da. That could have a meter, implication to it, but I'm not going to go there with that. And once again, so even when the vocal comes in, these guys are really, really thoughtful about the layered ambience behind it. If you took away the ambience, which is like arrangements that have long notes that hold out, could be guitars, sometimes they'll do it. A lot of super wide arrangements to set ambience could be done with keyboards and stuff, pads, that we call them and stuff like that. If you were to remove that ambiance, it would completely change the mood of the song. And as simple as maybe one or two notes that hold long is the difference between the kind of journey you're taking on this, and just by adding that kind of arrangement to it, changes the complete texture of the song, as we're listening to it as listeners and stuff. So anyhow, yada yada, I ramble on. just want to stop right there. The drums, when the kick went really straight, that was our next, kind of like point of like, that's where the rhythm is. That's where the tempo is being held. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Stuart Copeland from Sting, from Police, the days of the Police and stuff like that. That kind of playing where the kick, how many times on this channel have we heard the kick just do straight eighth notes? Everything, a lot of what I've been doing here on this journey has been a lot of intense progressive rhythmic arrangements and stuff, especially drums and stuff. But theirs is always switching around. They're not taking away from you the joy of feeling comforted by something that's keeping us straight into the pocket. But they keep changing in which element it is that they're using. Are they using the ride? Are they using the hi-hat and stuff? Then as he came out of that one part, you probably saw me reacting to the hi-hat. There was an and, or in other words, we thought he was going to be staying on this, but really the hi-hat was emphasizing the up of the count of the measure. For the pure listener, it just means that he just changed and shifted that sense of tempo. Then there's all these great little synth ambiance. Once again, very ambient thinking arrangement on this song. And I did catch a little bit of the lyrics here, so it's kind of a heavy little piece that's going through here with the vocals that he's laying back and stuff. But it was extremely interesting, all the little counter-rhythmical layers that were written inside there to keep it kind of that floating vibe, and that is, I believe, well, Return to Earth, maybe that's the drift, maybe that's the whole journey is, you're flying through the universe and coming through it. And plus, me, I don't know where on this project this song was located, because a lot of times there's a story from track 1 to track 10, sometimes a hidden track that takes you through a complete journey. So anyhow, let me see if I can't get through this without talking anymore. I've made this mistake before. Okay, it sounds like it. Something, the whole vibe of this is that there's a lot of heavy arrangements that are going on and giving you these different kind of trips in here in your experience right through here. And I can't help but feel that this, the track in of itself, because I'm not listening to the lyrics, can be kind of heavy. And to give you, a lot of times in delivering a message through a song via lyrics and stuff like that, obviously is accentuated with the kind of arrangement the band or the musician or the artist wants behind it to help tell the story. And this was a complete kind of, I don't want to say trip, if you would, but with so much happening there, it was a very well thought out arrangement and composition. And also very subtly, once again, the engineering on something like this is, I say this all the time, I know some people have had a challenge with me saying this, but when an album is being done, the engineer is just as much as part of the group as any other of the members of the group, because, without the skill of the engineer, sometimes it is a member of the band and whatever, You can make a mess out of a track like this because there's so much going on, and you have things set at certain dB, certain levels and panned in certain directions, and you have to be aware of crossing over ambient effects that could be washing out the power of something very subtle. All of a sudden gets washed out by another effect and stuff. So there's a lot going on there. But anyhow, I hope you dug this. This was kind of a surprise for me. I felt like I was going to do this even though it's not Monday yet. And I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to get back into the vibe because, like I said, I had a great weekend and wanted to get this out there early. So tomorrow morning, I'll be back. Thank you so much for your support, your comments, cup of coffee if you see fit. That link will be below, along with the music link for the AKG 240s. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. All right.